We're going to show how to detect DDoS attacks with the out-of-the-box rules that QRadar have. I'm going to talk a little bit about Superflows. So what we're going to be actually doing is we're going to be using this script to play this file, the type B pcap, which is massive. I mean, I did before a TCP dump and it was taking forever for that thing to run. So I'm not going to do it in here, but that's what we actually going to be running. So we execute that script, and pretty soon we're going to be starting seeing some flows here in the system. And here it is, all that massive replay going. And if I keep this going long enough, you will start seeing in here that some of these flows will contribute to offenses, and you'll see the red dot in here. And we will even see later that because of the sheer magnitude of these flows, they're going to be grouped into superflows, and you're going to see them in here on a red letter A, B, and C. We're going to be seeing mostly here B type of superflows, because B type of superflows is when many outside come into a single source IP that we have for our DNS server here. So we have one DNS server, and that's the target of all these massive attack. Types B, types A superflow are exactly the opposite, from one internal address going out to multiple IPs, and a class C superflow is many on a same source IP of destination IP, and the system does that in order to instead of showing you 100, 200, 2,000 flows, to show you, well, this is a superflow that consists of 200, 300 of those flows. And again, we see here some of those flows contributing to offenses, and you'll see that some of those offenses has some limit on 200, 300, 500, and that's what it took a while for those to contribute to offenses. We quickly saw a superflow going. So I'm going to pause the recording and wait until this massive set of flows actually goes through, and then we analyze which offenses actually fire on those. So those flows finish playing in here. Let's go to the offenses tab and see what has happened there. We have here two offenses. Let's see the first one, the 272. And as you see me doing before, we're going to display the rules that, or their rules that make this happen. But look at the number of events. So we have some logs in here as well as flows. Let's actually display the rules. And see what we have two rules. This one, let's take a look at it. It's actually a default rule that comes with QRadar. The only thing that I did to the rule is I modified this the source host. Instead of making it get greater than 500, I made it something smaller to 100 instead of 500. So, and the only other thing I did to this was actually enable the rule, because it doesn't come enabled by default. So I went to the second page and click on this to enable the rule. Pretty good. Let's look at the other rule. And this rule basically, is very similar. It says that the event is on the DMZ address, and we'll see how we actually modify the network topology to reflect that our DNS server is part of the is on the DMZ. So those two rules were the one that contribute to offense. Let's take a look at the other offense. In here, when we display the rules, we have one, this DDoS event from Darknet. Again, this is a rule by default in QRadar didn't modify anything of it, you see. So you don't need to know the details of all the DDoS attacks. The system knows that for you. And as did with the other one, I just went to the second page and enabled that rule. That's all it was. Now, well, we see we have Superflows A, B, and C. This is actually very nice, and we see that this one, for example, this is a Superflow type B, and it contributed to an offense as well. So let me pause this so we can actually go ahead and explore one of these. So let's actually click on it, and we see 198 sources were combined into a single one, and that's the meaning of the Superflow. It's a B type because it's coming into us. So to show you all the other things that I did when setting up this use case, that by the way, I forgot to mention that this use case, as most of the ones I've been showing, was created by Chris Hankins. In the network hierarchy, we actually, on the DMC, we added this DNS server right there. And that's the target of the, on that network, is the target of the TCP replay DDoS type of attack. And the only other thing was actually to define a log source for the DMC, the DNS server on the DMC, which is this one over here. Another thing to notice is that here in the offense 273 we have two events, and these events, wait until they come up, these two events in here were actually created by the actual two rules, two of the rules that actually fire. DDoS event detected by the darknet and potential DDoS against a single host ICMP. In fact, if we go to those rules, here in one of the rules, I don't know if you noticed that we have the option of dispatch new event. This actually is how the rule was created out of the box. And that event name DDoS detected from darknet is 1. And here's the other rule with the dispatch the event with that event description as well. These other 100 events, let's actually take a look at them, were actually generated by that other rule, and we see them here. There's a DMC host scan detected by foreign hosts. You can actually click on the event and see here on the description, the actual payload is the actual what was created by that offense actually firing. And if we take a look at the actual offense itself, we see that that also came out of the box on the system. I didn't do anything on it. Also dispatch a new event, and here's the description we just saw.